For more than 25 years, the Birmingham Group Health Services has provided hope and vital, free, and confidential services for children, families, and individuals affected by domestic violence. Joining me now is Susan DeLeon, the Director of Domestic Violence Programs, and Louise Hebert, a survivor of domestic violence. Welcome both to Connecticut Style. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Susan, right off the bat, tell me how big of a problem this is in Connecticut.
Well, in the last year in the state of Connecticut, we had 60,000 victims of domestic violence that were served.
Wow, and you don't really hear about it all that often. I mean, I guess people maybe don't want to talk about it, but obviously it's a huge problem.
It's not a popular subject.
Right.
And in our local area, that would be the lower Naugatuck Valley and the greater New Haven area along the shoreline, we served a total of about 9,000.
Oh, wow.
Victims of domestic violence. That's not a count with the children either.
Wow.
I mean, the children would be separate.
Tell me how the Birmingham Group helps out.
Well, we have some great programs. We have a walk-in crisis center in the Valley, in Ansonia, and we have one in North Haven that serves that New Haven area. And we provide counseling, one-on-one counseling. We do support groups. We work with the children, which you'll hear about later. We have a 24-hour, 7 days per week crisis hotline. And what that means is that we're available anytime, day or night, to receive a call from somebody who's in trouble, who needs to talk. We also have two safe houses that are in anonymous locations. And at the safe house, we have women and children who come for up to 60 to 90 days.
Really?
And while they're there, we provide the same types of services that we provide at our crisis centers, where we offer the counseling and the advocacy and the case management.
And there's two specific programs that you have.
There are two specific programs. However, we're very similar, except our cultures are a little bit different because of the towns that we serve.
Okay.
The New Haven area has a very large court program, and the lower Naugatuck Valley area has a larger population of people that come in for counseling at their office.
Okay. Now, Louise, you're willing to share your story with us. You were a victim of domestic abuse. Tell us a little bit about your story, if you would.
Well, it happened many years ago. I was actually 17, and I always like to preface by saying I am currently married. I've been married for 28 years, and I love the guy, and it's wonderful, and life is good for me.
Happy to hear that.
Yeah. So I always like to make sure that people are aware of that. But prior to that, I ended up in a relationship when I was very young, and I lived a typical middle-class lifestyle with my parents, and I ended up going out with someone who was... I could tell that the family was abusive. I knew that there was alcohol involved, but I was very young and I was naive, and I thought, well, you know, if we get together, you know, he'll see the better side of life, and you know, I can fix it. I can change it. And that was a very naive thing. I was pregnant. We did get married, and within a month or so, he started punching me in the stomach and belittling me, calling me names. And then he would apologize profusely. Oh, Louise, I'm so sorry for what I did. Or he would forget about it. And it would go away, and I thought, oh man, that's never going to happen again. And it just kept getting worse and getting worse and getting worse. And I was mortified. I was embarrassed. He alienated me from my family. He alienated me from friends. And I really began to think that I was less than an aunt, that I was really a nobody. You know, sometimes I would really think that it was all my fault. And I lived like this for 8 years.
What finally made you realize this wasn't right?
Well, I knew it wasn't right all along, but I was afraid to leave because he would threaten to kill my kids first, then kill my family, and then kill me. And based on what he did to me, I absolutely believed that he would do that. And it finally happened one day. I knew that day I was going to die. I knew. It just got so bad. But I really feel like the hand of God was on me that day, and I ran across the bed to call for help. And usually by that time he would get the phone and smash it over my head. But for some reason that day he left, and I was able to get help. My little sister came, she picked me up, I ran out with no shoes, I grabbed my 2 kids, and for a month we hid because there was a warrant out for his arrest, but they couldn't find him. So we hid for an entire month. I took my kids out of school, and he finally was arrested, and slowly but surely I changed my life around. And I like to say that I'm not a survivor, but I'm a thriver.
Okay.
My life is very, very good, and if I can do it, other people can do it as well.
Great. Oh, thank you so much for sharing your story. Really, I'm sure it will inspire women who are
I
hearing
hope
it.
so. That's why I want to share my story, is that if I can do it, other people can.
Great, Luz. Thank you so much. And Susan, tell us about some upcoming events that are happening.
For Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we have a candlelight vigil on Tuesday this week, Tuesday evening from 6 to 7 at the Kellogg Environmental Center. And then we have the Sound of Hope, which takes place on Long Wharf Pier. That will be on Wednesday from about 1 to 2 o'clock. And we have some great speakers. We have Chris Donovan, Speaker of the House, coming, which is pretty exciting. And during that time, we will be reading the names of the deceased. Every year in Connecticut, we usually read the names of anywhere between 20 and 25 people that have died in Connecticut as a result of domestic violence. It's a very solemn occasion. It's very important that we raise awareness to let people know what we're doing, and that we talk and respect the people that have suffered at the hands of domestic violence, and we honor the staff, because the staff that work so hard.
Well, let everybody know there's a resource out there,
Yes.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In fact, let's put all the information up on the screen. If you want more info on the Birmingham Group Health Services, you can call the number there, 203-736-2601, and the domestic violence hotline is 888-774-2900. Louise, thank you again for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Susan, thanks for being here. Coming